party sometimes.
Oh.
Are we ready?
Yes.
Yay. Yay. So welcome to the Steven Universe, the panel. I'll read the description so it's fresh in our minds. Steven Universe is a new show on Cartoon Network featuring multiple powerful women of color, 2 of which are in the main 4 characters, and many of whom are queer. It's a great show with a lot of momentum. That said, it's created by largely white people, and despite all the black women appearing, there are none to be seen on the staff. What does this mean to its many fans? What does the show do right, and what needs drastic improvement? The panel will also discuss headcanons, plot points, and hopes for the future. So, hi, I'm Sarah Tops. I'll be moderating tonight, or this afternoon, whatever time of day it is. I will probably mostly not be speaking. I might have some opinions that come out, but I'm going to be focusing on y'all. We'll start with discussing what's written in the panel, and then for maybe the first 40 minutes, and then open it up to questions from the audience. Just kind of see how it goes. So we'll start with, oh, and I do want to make a note that the panel is being videotaped, so we're all on video that will be posted on YouTube later, but on Nick's YouTube channel here.
So some friends of mine who couldn't make it to the con can see it.
Yeah, so I maybe we'll have to grab the URL and tweet it or something after the panel. So if you have any concerns, if you're asking a question and would prefer that be edited out, just talk to Nick afterwards. I think that is all the basics. So I'll start with have each panelist introduce yourself, maybe what brings you to the panel, and if there are any characters in Steven Universe that you particularly identify with, or maybe just a favorite.
Hi, I'm Nauman Colbert. I'm a writer and a geek, and I love Steven Universe. It's amazing. I want to say that I believe I'm Garnet, but most likely I'm Amethyst. Just like, let's be honest. One of my favorite characters is Lapis, so I'm super excited with the new episodes, and yeah.
I'm Nick. I'm a theater geek. What brings me to the panel is that I'm a huge fan of the show. I think my favorite characters are, well, I think my gem Sona would be a fusion of Pearl and Peridot. But, that's it for intros. No.
Hello, my name is LaShawn and I am a writer, and I love Steven Universe. Hold on, let me start over. I also watched the show with my 12-year-old son, who is a huge, huge fan of Steven Universe. So, so yeah, so he is here to squee with me. I guess my favorite character would have to be Rose, mainly because she's just so awesome, and yeah, and being a mother myself, but it's interesting. You never see Rose much in the show, but her influence is everywhere. So, yeah. Rose Quartz. See, I'm a writer, people.
Hello, my name is Maria. I podcast with Nerdgasm Noir, and I'm on the panel because I love the show. And of course, my favorite is Garnet. I love her too.
How is the volume for everyone? Or if I just talk without the mic sometimes, is that good? Okay, and we'll leave the mic kind of central. So I guess to delve into some of the questions that were offered on the panel description, we'll start with the good stuff. What does the show do right?
I think they do gender exceptionally well. I think they do, I think they do race really well. It's interesting because when I read the description and they said 2 of the main 4 characters are powerful women of color, I sort of wondered who they meant. Are they talking about Garnet and Amethyst? How are they judging that?
Three.
Because, yeah, Pearl is also voiced by a woman of color. So
In fact, I think every gem so far has been voiced by.
Not Rose.
no, not
No,
Rose,
not
but the
Rose.
rest of them.
And not Yellow Diamond, but
Yeah.
they make an exception for her.
But I just thought that was really interesting on how we decide who is a woman of color on this show, where the people aren't really human and don't really have genders or anything like that.
Pretty much on that. It's also just an amazingly well-written show that really rewards delving into its thematics as well as for hints and clues about what's going on next. And also, there was something else I was going to say, but I'll probably think of it in a bit.
So for me, I've always loved the character of Stephen himself, seeing that he is bicultural. He's part gem, part human. So having a mixed son of my own, seeing that played out has been always really cool to see. Because yeah, we could see in episodes where Stephen has to deal with that, and it's, you know, really cool to see. And yeah, the storytelling is wonderful. I love it. In the way the character development too is just, it's just brilliant.
There's a lot of things. God, how much time do we have where I can say how much I love about the show?
5 minutes.
I love all the relationships, all the different relationships, different family structure that they have going on, how they handle that. I think that's really interesting. And then Stephen's relationship with Connie, I like that a lot as well. Yeah.
And we don't necessarily have to go in order, so if you're like really like itching to start a question midway down the line, just go for it. So we mentioned some of the things that the show does right, and so I might wrap. What needs improvement? What do you find problematic with the show?
I mean, I'm just gonna, I'm a little sick, so I'm not gonna use the mic in an effort not to get my fellow panelists ill. It's hard for me to say what they can improve because all the other shows I watch are so much worse. That it's sort of like when there's a new Steven Universe episode, I'm like, oh. I was like, look, something where I don't have to be offended every 5 minutes. I'm so excited. And so I was trying to think about it. I was like, what can they improve? And I don't have any ideas. That may be because my head is full of mucus, but I just love everything about it. I love the characters. I love the way they talk to each other. I love the way they care for each other. I love the relationships between the individual gems, which are all different and interesting. I love that they're... What episode are we on in the US?
Barnmates.
Barnmates. That's the latest one?
Yeah, though a couple others have leaked.
Yeah,
They aired in France.
I watched the leaks, so I needed to know so I don't spoil it.
Really? Interesting.
I love that they're, especially with Barnmates, you see that they're willing to take in other gems who have learned and changed their ways and are willing to help them grow. And it's not this whole, you were my enemy once and so you shall be my enemy forevermore and I'll cut off your head. It's very much like we welcome you to our community, to our group of people who have learned that this planet is worth saving.
Gems who don't fit in Homeworld, basically.
Yeah, gems who don't fit in on Homeworld. I mean, has everyone seen the extended intro?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, with baby Steven. I think it's super interesting that Garnet says that she's fighting for a world where she's free to be who she wants to be. I mean, that basically says it all. Pearl is a little... I mean, I love her, don't get me wrong, but the codependency is a little much sometimes. But they don't play it for laughs. They don't, it's like a serious issue, like that she has had, like you see it in Sworn to the Sword, when like Steven sort of has to step in and be like, this is not how you should be training Connie to think about me. Like, I know she shouldn't be dying for me, that's not what I want.
I'm relieved Lapis appears to be joining the gems just so Pearl can take a break from being the crystal gem with the most issues.
Subscriptions.
Oh, yes.
Lapis is wonderfully emo.
But I like how complicated Lapis is. She doesn't really fit with the gyms quite yet, and she definitely, you know, isn't wanting to go back to Homeworld, so, yeah.
I mean, all through Same Old World, I just knew something bad was going to happen because Lapis smiling and happy, that's not going to last very long.
But she also shows that maybe not everything the crystal gems do is right.
Yes.
So I like that too.
And I mean, I think that's what one of the things that hooked me on the show was that early in the like in the second 10 episodes, you start to see hints that, like, there's actually a lot more to the crystal gems and the things they did than they've shared with Steven. And it didn't, usually I get irked when, like, older people keep things from younger people. Like, I love the Harry Potter series, but I was pissed at Dumbledore through all those books. I was like, you tell a child when someone's trying to kill them. Like, you let them know. You don't just like, oh, I didn't want to tell you, but look, you saved yourself anyway. Sorry your friend died. Like, but in Steven Universe, it's like they legitimately are doing this because they're waiting for him to mature. It's not that they're keeping it from him because they think he's going to think about them differently, or they're just like, he's too young and he doesn't need to know about it. And as soon as he does need to know about it, they tell him. Like, as soon as they're like, oh shit, stuff's going down, maybe you should know this. I always appreciate that.
One of the things, so a lot of folks on this panel are writers and podcasters. Is there, from like a writer's standpoint, is there anything you can speak to doing good things, like good things and things that need to be improved as far as the writing of the show, in your opinions?
Well, one of the things that I've always appreciated was the world building.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, you again, like you said, Naman, you could see hints of it very early on, and it wasn't just in the writing; it was in the art itself, the backgrounds. Like when they go to visit the temple, and you see pictures, but you have no clue what the pictures mean, and it's not until you start getting into the whole mythos, well, not the mythos, but you know, you start learning about the diamonds, and it's like, oh, okay, this world is bigger than, you know, what it is. And that's what I really appreciated, is seeing just the hints